Welcome to this new flight simulator movie. In this movie we're gonna look at the top 5 busiest airports in the UK, which are part of Flight Simulator 2020. So I also will point you to, I would say, the community add-ons, which are available, if they are available, and also if there is, I'd say, a paid version. So on spot number 5, it's London Luton, right? London Luton, I would say there are more than 12 million passengers traveling through it in 2015. Probably it's, I would say, a little bit lower nowadays due to COVID. It's used by low-cost airlines like Wizz Air, Ryanair, EasyJet, Monarch, along with charter carriers such as Thomson and First Choice. I would say it's a nice airport, right? It's completely being redeveloped. And you can see that in this case, there is a special marker in Flight Simulator even, where you can see that it was for the celebration of the 80 years of London Luton Airport. It's just one of the airports which is, I would say, in the, near direction of London City. Right, so London City is, of course, another airport. Then we also have, of course, Heathrow and some other airports we'll look at. So, how does it look like? Well, so the airport itself has only one runway, right, which starts over there, runway 25, and there is runway 07. So one runway, several taxiways, and if we would look at the rest of the airport, we can see a large parking spot on the left side. We can see the tower, which is mostly in the center of the airport. Below us are some parking spots. Those are not having, I would say, the jetways, which you normally are used to in maybe the bigger airports. Again, this is the default London Luton airport, such as, I would say, is it built in Flight Simulator 2020. So there's no additional add-on installed for this. There are paid add-ons which will upgrade London Luton to be more realistic than this one. So you can see that it has several gates, right? And the gates are divided or spread across the airport itself, but none of them have really the jetways. According to this, I would say, implementation. How it is in the real time, that's of course something else. On the other side, we can see a lot of hangars and a lot of, I would say, probably production rooms where baggage is being delivered, and some smaller aircrafts are being parked. Also some refueling capabilities, like here's the fuel truck, and some manual refueling capabilities. So you can nicely refuel at the airport if you want. Going further down the line, we will find the few jetways which are available at this airport. According to this, only 2 are there. Maybe it has been revamped in, I would say, a newer edition of the add-ons, where it has multiple jetways. But according to this, it's I would say only 2 jetways, and some other, I would say, terminal buildings, but also some hangars to repair aircrafts. You can see a lot of, I would say, space. It's a pretty big airport, as you can see. Continuing our trip to the other side, and the other side some more parking spots where we can see some more aircrafts being parked, as we can see. Also some stairs, because that's the, I would say, default method of onboarding and offboarding passengers, is by using the stairs, and that goes really quick, right? So other than that, there is nothing, I would say, special. That might be a little bit a nasty wording, but there's nothing, I'd say, more to tell about this airport, right? Only one or 2 runways. I'd say it exists for more than 80 years already, and it's close to London, right? So it's one of the airports which you can choose if you want to go to London. This is number 5. So let's see what's on number 4. On spot number 4, it's London Stansted, which is located 40 miles northeast of London Central. It's also a very busy airport. In the past, I would say, more than 22.5 million passengers travel to the terminal. And it increased even further. To be honest, I'm doubting if it increased even further, I would say, during these times. This one is pretty interesting because there's a nice free community version available, which really, I would say, improves this airport. Right, so let's have a look. So let's go down. So what has improved? Well, a lot. Now, first of all, you can see everywhere at the gates that there's a lot of, I would say, added details to it. For example, you can see the taxi, or I would say the parking spots are there. But if you go, I would say, a little bit closer to the gate, you can also see that there are not some nice panels with some description about, okay, hey, what is the gate number, what are the other things, some warning signs, some special say jetways, right? So we can even go to the arrivals baggage claim. There are clear let's say signs on that. And if we go up and go a little bit further, we can see that it's also a pretty busy airport, right? There are some static airports which they added. For example, all the Ryanairs here. These are all static, right? These are not moving. Some more Ryanairs. So it looks like Ryanair is using this airport a lot. It also has the fuel depot and the fuel tanks. And the cool thing is that in this case, there are also really nice buses driving over the airport, like this one, right? So you can really see that it's completely updated. And I think for a free add-on, this is really cool. So continuing, we can see a nice hotel and a parking garage there. So here's the parking garage of London Stansted. And I will post a link of this download, of course, in the description of this video, because this is definitely one which you want to install if you're flying a lot in the UK. Then continuing our trip, we will find the kind of monorail. Whoa. Hope everything goes well. Also really cool build, right? So it travels, it helps passengers, and it brings them from one side to the other side. You can see that this one is really nicely developed, and here it's really probably stops to let passengers in and out. And here we're in the terminal hall, right? You can see that the terminal hall is, I would say, default, right? There have been some modifications, and probably in the future they will add some more, because if you would go one layer down, you would see that there's some more work to do. But hey, it's free, so it's already amazing. So continuing our trip, right? If we follow this path, we can go into the, I would say, departure or the waiting launch, I should say. And this one is also pretty detailed, right? Even, I would say, signs with the departures on it. Some chairs where people can sit on. So a lot of detail in here, including if you would look at the lighting, right? It's even detailed. So continuing our trip back to the main hall, which can be reached via a tunnel. Let's go a little bit more over there. So again, more parking spots and some garages, and then probably here's another hotel or something, or well, at least there's a large parking spot, as you can see. And if we would go here, some nice flags waving in front of a building, which is the Enterprise House. And again, a lot of parking spots here and the railroad. There are no trains driving as far as I could find. And as you can see, there's also no, I would say, modeling done for the runway or railway part. But it's already cool that this part has been added. Maybe it's, I would say, a future thing. And then here we've got another hotel and a lot of parking spots. And eventually it will bring us to the, I would say, control tower, right? So the control tower, let's see if we can look into it. Be a bit careful with that. It's always a challenge doing that, right? So, come on. So here we've got the control tower. No, that's too far. Oh, wrong button. So let's do it again. So let's set up the speed a bit. some nice jetways while we were traveling around. So let's see if we can get in. So on the bottom there's nothing, right? But if you would go a little bit higher, and say a little bit, then you will find the let's say some interior here, right? Some computer screens have been added, and you can even go to the roof to have a nice overview of the airport itself. Continuing to the let's say Royal Mail, right? So this is the, I would say, postal service of the UK. So probably a lot of let's say packages, etc., are being transported here. So this is really for the cargo part of the airport. And if we look there, there's the let's say passenger part, including some trucks here. Fire station. You can't do without them, right? Better safe than sorry. Some other, I would say, transport organizations like FedEx and TNT. And that's it, right? So if we go further down the line, we can see a lot of, I would say, spots here where they can park the aircrafts. Also, while we're flying around, the airport has one runway, or actually two, right? You can see them over here. Nicely detailed. You can really see the usage here on this piece, right? So this is the spot where the touchdown takes place. And then here we've got, I would say, the probably it's a repair shop of Ryanair. Here we've got another one, the diamond hangar, right? It's probably used for smaller aircrafts. Some jet blast walls. And then on the other side, it's a little bit the same, right? So some halls where they can repair the aircrafts, not specific to one airliner, as far as I can see. Also some small aircrafts being parked here. A larger one, this probably a hall, right? So you can see the amazing doors here, also used for repairs probably, and maybe some repainting of aircrafts. And again, here's some more, right? So a lot of stuff here. You can see that this one is really, let's say, cool. It's completely remodeled, and again, it's for free. So have a look at the download link in the description of this video and try it out yourself if you want. So here ends the review of or airport number 4 on the list of most busiest airports in the UK. Let's see what's on spot number 3. So now you probably wonder what's on spot number 3. Well, on spot number 3 there's another airport, but it's not as near as to London City as the other ones. So this is Manchester Airport, right? So Manchester Airport it has 3 passenger terminals and handles over 23 million passengers in 2015. There are some, I would say, long-haul airlines such as Cathay Pacific, Qatar Airlines and Etihad, US Airlines, Delta, American Airlines, and several other ones like the low-cost airlines such as Vueling, EasyJet, Ryanair, etc. You can see that the airport itself is pretty big. Keep in mind that this is the default airport as it comes with Flight Simulator 2020. There's a say paid add-on for this airport, which is, I would say, available for a recent amount of money, which completely pimps up this airport, but I didn't bought it yet. There's no free add-on which updates it. Besides, there's, let's say, one add-on which optimizes the light. So you can see a lot of terminals, as already discussed, right? It has it has 3 passenger terminals, all including jetways. You can see some aircraft are waiting for the passengers to onboard. Unfortunately, there's no, I would say, content in the terminals, but that's kind of expected because that's only with the paid add-ons or with some of the community add-ons, like we just reviewed on Stansted. Here we've got the hangars following our trip to the next terminal, which is a little bit bigger compared to the other one, right, over there, because that one was, I would say, pretty small. This one is, I would say, a little bit larger, also includes all jetways, but the signs are missing, which sometimes makes it hard to figure out how you can connect. Also, you can see that some of the jetways are not well connected, but that will probably be fixed as soon as airports are, I would say, connected to it. So this is the second terminal building, including some large buildings after it, or behind it, I should say. Then we've got another building, which is another terminal, which is probably the main terminal. And you can see that the airport has two, say, towers. Here's one, and there's another one. Maybe it's due to the size of the airport, or in some cases it's also one new and one old. I'm not familiar with this airport, but for example, Amsterdam Schiphol also has a new and an old one, but also I'd say an additional one due to the distance of the airport and distance of the runways, so everything can be seen clear. What do we have else on this airport? Well, a nice sign here. I love MCR. Continuing our trip. Downwards we can see some parking spots, some other buildings. This airport also has one runway, right? So 23 Romeo on this end, and if we would continue our trip we would eventually come at 05 Lima. So poppy lights and another traffic tower, right? So here's the other one. You can go inside, but you're flying straight through it, as you can see. And here we've got some large buildings, like probably for baggage handling, but also for for cargo, and some nice water also, so you can take a swim if you want. Continuing our trip, because this airport has one more runway, which you can see there's currently, let's say, an Airbus standing in front of it. It's runway 23 Lima, and probably also on the other hand we would see another one. So let's take a look at how this aircraft takes off. It's a nice big one, this. So this looks like someone has built something special here. Or is this an aircraft which is... I'm not sure what it is. It looks like an A380 or something. So it looks like someone is... someone is testing something which we were not aware of. Or actually something is being released soon. So here we go. There it goes airborne, right? So which brings us to the other end of the runway, and also the review of this airport, which is Manchester Airport, where we spontaneously saw a really cool aircraft taking off the runway. So let's see if we can find that aircraft really soon in Flight Simulator 2020. So let's move to spot number 2. Which airport is on number 2? Let's see. On spot number 2, we have London Gatwick Airport, which is 29.5 miles south of London. It's the second busiest airport by passenger traffic. So in 2015, it even broke a record of 40.3 million passengers. And that was a worldwide record for a single runway airport. This one, I've got some good news for you, because there is a community add-on which completely revamps the airport and adds a lot of detail, right? So if we do a small round, try to do it slowly, but it's, I would say, sometimes a little bit hard in Flight Simulator. And it has been completely revamped, has some cool stuff. So let's go down and let's see what we have here. So let's go down. I need to increase the speed a bit. So the airport has two terminals, the North Terminal and the South Terminal, which are used by large aircraft for airliners such as British Airways, Emirates, Virgin Atlantic, but also charter operators such as Thomas Cook Airlines and Thomson Holidays. So while flying in the air, right, we can see one of the terminal buildings here. Welcome to Gatwick. So probably this is the main building, which was there. You can see all of the, let's say, gates have jetways. And the cool thing about this add-on is that it adds, I would say, some additional details to it. For example, that's some numbers. But if you would go to certain spots, you can also see the nice signs here which say, okay, hey, this is the specific aircraft which is standing in front of it. Trying to find one where there's an aircraft. Oh, here we have one. So for example, on this way, 90, you can see, okay, hey, the light is burning, right? So that's cool information. So it gives you some more information also as the pilot of an aircraft, how close you are, if you're on the correct spot, yes or no. Besides that, there are of course multiple signs on the ground, right? So here, for example, keep clear, which is really cool. So let's see if we can go inside the terminal building. Yes, we can, but as you can see, it's kind of empty between brackets. That might be some work in progress. If we would go down, you can walk under the terminal building, right? You can do, if you're out a kind of a truck which goes bringing baggage to the aircrafts. Even nice details, right? So you can see that I would say these pillars are really used. You can see maximum height and maximum width, I would say angles or signs. Then we can continue our trip. Let's first go that way. Let's go in the air again. Some clear signs on the taxiway, right? So also clear signs, okay, hey, this is gate 15, 20, 13R, 13. That's always very useful, right? Because that's sometimes you're puzzling with in Flight Simulator where, okay, hey, I need to park at a certain spot, but where can I find it? This looks to be, I would say, road to a parking garage. Then here we've got the welcome to Gatwick sign. And you can see that it also is expanding, right? So a lot of parking spots here. Train has just arrived. So some new passengers are coming and are going to travel. Here's the I would say construction site where they're gonna build some new stuff. Not sure what they're gonna build. Maybe some new terminal building or a new arrival hall. So we can see that the train stops here and unloads and loads new passengers. Both people who just arrived at the airport and maybe are departing. Maybe they're just there to pick up some people. Again, if we're going inside the building, we can see that there's, I would say, it's empty for now. But I do expect that based on the level of detail the outside is, the developer will add some more stuff in the future. Continuing our trip, we can go to the, I would say, other end of the terminal where you can see a nice round building, which also has some jetways connected to it. This one is, let's say, a little bit smaller compared to the other one. It still has some interesting stuff here. I'm not sure what it is. I was thinking it was a sign, but it isn't. Also, smaller aircrafts can park here. Not sure if this is correct, but hey, that's how it is in Flight Simulator. Then if we go to the other end, we arrive at the other terminal building, which has, I would say, long jetways. I think this is a really long one, as you can see, including some nice aircrafts being parked here, warning signs again, a lot of trucks. Let's see if we can find something in this building. You can even see that the details here for these signs are really, I'd say, really cool, right? So it's pretty nice that they added these details. So let's see if we can go into the jetway. Probably you can go there. Some other trucks here. The terminal itself is, I would say, is again, it's empty, but that's, so say, that's similar to the other pieces we saw, just as this building. There are some walls inside, so I do expect that there is some work being done as we speak. Then we see some really cool aircraft, right? So we can see the Globestar C-17 here being parked. They are military aircraft. You wouldn't expect it here, but... And some more jetways here. So this airport, right, compared to the earlier ones we saw, is, I would say, again, a really big one. And that with the knowledge that it only has one runway. That's, I would say, something surprising, maybe. And here we can see some, I would say, modern building, which brings you from one end to the other end. Probably this is, say, a new piece of the airport, because this building looks really, say, modern. And here we've got some other terminals where you can connect to. So a lot of terminals. If you are looking for a really big airport in the UK, then this is probably one of them which you want to give a try. What can we see different than that, right? So I'm looking for the, I would say, for the tower. I was expecting a really high one, but to be honest, I do think that this one is the only one in place, which is, I would say, a little bit surprising, thinking of the size of this airport, right? So this is the tower as it looks like. It's a small one, as you can see. Cool, even with working radar and with some, I would say, other diagrams. It looks like it's static data, but it still is very cool. On the other end, we can see the large hangars where you can, I would say, park your aircraft, probably for repair. So see EasyJet here, for example, and some other parking spots. Virgin Atlantic has its own spot, and also Boeing, you can see it there in front, has their own spot on this airport, probably for repair, etc. Here's a smaller tower, a really small one, to be honest. And then here we've got the Boeing hangars used for repairs. Also some nice aircrafts here. You can see how large they are, right? So you can easily park an aircraft in it. What do we have else? Well, of course, the runway itself. We didn't visit that one. So you can see that it says it has had a single runway, but it looks like that there was some expansion. There's a runway 08 left and 08 right here, and some, I would say, fire drill piece on this side, right? This is mainly used by, I would say, by the fire stations to perform their fire drills. You can also see some fire trucks here, so they're practicing as we speak. That's cool. Other than that, what's on this side? We didn't find it out yet, so let's increase the speed a bit. Some other nice buildings and some other hangars here, right? On this side, fire truck is driving around. Here's an aircraft which is parked weird. This one is really parked weird. And we can see another aircraft here just taxiing. That's just arrived, or maybe it's taking off as we speak. So this airport is on number 2, right? It's Gatwick. It's, I would say, a really big one compared to the other airports. Also, if we go high up in the air, you can see a lot of stuff. The cool thing is that there are some free add-on available, delivered or created by someone from the community. So have a look at the description of this video and you can find the download link, so you can also give it a try yourself. Now, drumroll full, we go to airport, which is on spot number 1. Well, guess what's on spot number 1? Yes, it's Heathrow Airport, which is on number 1. It's the largest airport in the UK. It has more than 80.9 million passengers annually. It's the busiest airport, and also the busiest airport in Europe, at least prior to COVID. The airport is used by more than 90 airliners, both domestic and international, and is the main hub for the British Airways. It has 4 terminals, numbered 2 to 5, and it's accessible by tube, train, bus, taxi from central London, so you can easily travel from the airport to London City and vice versa. There are some other things which are taking place as we speak, because there are some, I would say, things being built here. As you can see here, when we go down, you will see it. There's some cranes there. So let's have a look at this one. And well, there are some aircrafts taking off from the airport. This one is again the default Heathrow, which is part of Flight Simulator 2020. There are some add-ons which are, I'd say, improving the lightning piece of the airport. I didn't see a paid add-on or something for the airport to be, let's say, improved. Although that would be really nice. It would be really nice if someone, either someone from the community or someone who's really, you'd say, wants to earn money, spend some time on improving this one, because I think there's a lot of improvements possible. You can see that overall, I'd say the quality is okay, right? You can still go to the building or buildings, like with every, say, default scenery, which is provided as a package of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. All of them have jetways. You can see different types of aircrafts. Here's the piece where I said, okay, hey, they're building something here. Not sure what's being built here. You can see that the level of detail is still pretty a lot, right? Because you can see that the roof is really detailed, including the airco units, but also the, I would say, details of the jetways is really nice. Going to that other side, which is here are the large hangars, right, for aircraft repairs. Those are large, right? So even with open doors, some offices, of course, because this is again the main hub for British Airways, right? So it's their main hub, like KLM has, Schiphol has main hub. Some walls, right, for, I would say, testing the engines, right? Parking spots, and this is probably the baggage part or the cargo part of the airport, because we don't see a lot of jetways here. So continuing our trip, see again the C-17, really nice one, also a community add-on. If you love them, then I would say really try it. And here we've got another one, right? You can see there's another really big one. I think it's again the A380. It's not 100% finished probably, because if you look at the nose, it's a little bit steep, but it's really cool. Let's see if we can go inside. Yeah, we can go inside, but there's nothing to be seen here. So this is the A380. The A380 in the wild. Again, this is already the second time that we saw this one. So while we're looking, there's a lot of parking spots on that end, and we completely flew by the rest of the buildings here while we were focusing on the A380. So this is the other building, the other terminal hall, but there's some development being there, right? So probably they are expanding the airport again to have some more passengers. On the other end of this building, we can see the again the jetways again for passengers, and then we will end up at the next terminal already, because I would say it's large, but unfortunately there's not a lot of detail inside the buildings, so we can't go, well, we can go inside the buildings, but it probably doesn't add a lot of value. And it's a lucky day because there's another 380, right? So at least I think it's an A380. I'm not 100% sure again, but it looks like. Runways, which is airport have, is runway 09 left and 27 right. And on the other side of the airport, there's another runway. That's runway 27 Lima and 09 right. So you can see that the rest of the aircraft or airport is really detailed, including if you look at the tubes here, they are really detailed, and also at the let's say baggage cars here. But let's say inside the buildings, there's a lot of work to do. So here we can see the traffic tower, which is empty, but you can use it to, let's say, review or to look around. And you can see that it's pretty dense airport, right? Because you can see one aircraft after the other one is landing. Not sure what kind of this one is. It's an A320, this looks like. Some few depots here. And then we're ending up at the smaller terminals. These are really the smaller ones, right, compared to the other ones we just visited. Another one, and this is then again a larger one, where we again see a large aircraft. As most of you know, right, there's an A380 in development by Fly-by-Wire, the people who are also behind the A320 NX. So I'm really hoping that it will be soon available, because I'm really looking forward to fly with that one. So again, a really big airport, right? I think it's bigger than Gatwick. A lot of fun stuff here, a lot of buildings here, but it would be really nice if someone, I would say, would pimp up the airport a bit, make it more realistic. Also one traffic tower here. Can't imagine that there is one traffic tower, but maybe there is. All kind of cool stuff. Again, this one is really busy because you can see a lot of aircrafts coming in, right? So here's another one flying in. So if you want to see a lot of traffic, then this is probably the best airport to fly around. So you will be, I would say, you need to watch out while taxiing, right? You probably need to stop a lot of times. But hey, that's making it more realistic. So here ends this video. In this video we looked at the top 5 most busiest airports in the UK. Both the default, I would say, scenery is discussed, but also the custom scenery which is available is being discussed. I couldn't show all of them because I don't have all of them installed. Of course I have the Gatwick and Stansted one installed, and those are definitely 2 airports which you really want to give a try. Here ends this video again. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, then consider to use the like button. If you got questions or comments, then feel free to post them in the comment box below. And if you want to stay up to date about new videos I'm creating, then make sure that you're subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching and see you next time.